Hi, abstract artist. So we're going to just be focusing on the eye portion for this video, and I'm going to clip all the parts with just the eye in. And so this is my process in painting eyes. So we're going to start with the outline, which is a raw umber mixed with a skin tone. And you're just going to make the outline of the eye. We're going to put white dots on each eye, or you could put it on a paint palette. This is the kind of brush I'm using. Then you're going to spread it in the eye, just white. And then I blend with my finger. You could blend with your finger, you could blend with a brush. I recommend makeup brushes to blend because they are the best. And you want to give it depth, so you want to make sure it is the brightest and whitest at the top of the eye, or like, since the eyes are balls, you want it to be at the frontmost part of the eye so that it looks like it goes into the eye socket. And I'm putting raw umber, outlining it again around the eye, blending with my finger. This is where I make the eyelids, I believe, after I put more white on the eyeball. More white again. You want to put white on it a lot because once you make the iris, it's really hard to add more white to it. So make sure you have this eyeball part perfectly down, and make sure it has depth, dimension, and it looks like a sphere. But not the whole sphere, a sphere inside of an eyeball socket. Blue and yellow to make it green. I'm using this type of brush. First, I'm going to finish off the eyelid and the eyeballs. To make the eyelids, I just mix white with skin color, and then I add some raw umber to the skin color for the dark parts. You'll see in a minute. I blend with my finger, blend with my finger. This is me making the eyelid right here. See, I use white skin color and I mix it with the skin color. And then I'm adding some raw umber to the crease, blending it, blending it. Darker, just skin color with more saturation for the skin color, less white. Right there. And then I'm blending with my finger. Here I'm adding a line of raw umber to get that crease in there, blending with my finger. Blending with a dry brush, adding some water to it to blend it better. Adding a line between the eyeball and the eyelid, the end of the eyelid, to add more depth. I'm going to be blending that with a makeup brush so that it's not such a line. This will then make sure that it looks like there's depth and then there's a shadow on the eye, so the eyes look like they're popping out. Not like too far, but like normal eye amount. Adding more white to the eyeball, it's a little bit right there. Adding red to the corners. This part is very crucial to make it actually look like a real eye, because we all have that pinkish thing in the corner of our eyes, and we have little veins on our eyes. And if you really want to get really technical and get really close, you can see there's little veins in your eyes, okay? Sometimes they get red, and some people have more prominent veins in their eyes, other people don't, but they are there. Now I'm doing the iris, mixed that blue and the yellow, made that green, and this is just the base for the iris. It's not the final result. This just helps me add that depth to the iris. There's a lot of different layers that go on top of this first basic layer, but this part's crucial. Make sure that the eyeballs, each iris is in a good placement. The eyes don't look cross-eyed or like you have a lazy eye. You want to make sure to make it like that. And I forgot to record, my camera ran out of storage when I made the black for the iris, or the pupil in the iris, but I didn't use just a regular black like that you buy. You want to use equal parts of all three primary colors, so equal parts yellow, equal parts blue, and equal parts red to make that black, because if you use the black, it doesn't look natural and it doesn't look realistic, because there's no true black in nature. So nothing on our skin is actually pure black. It's all going to be really, really dark colors. If that makes sense. And so then I do a dark circle around the eye. You could do this any color, depending on the color you're making the iris. I'm doing blue, so I'm doing a dark blue circle around the iris. Not everybody has these. I do think it makes the eyes look cooler, though, in my own personal preference. If you're doing a brown eye, do a darker brown ring around the eye. It really helps to make those eyes pop. This is the brush I'm using to do some detailing on the eyes. Doing that yellow around the ring, around the pupil, making it look kind of like a sunflower. I added more raw umber around the eye to give it that depth back to it. I decided at this point I was going to put makeup on the eye, so I'm adding in eyeshadow after this part, after I finish up with this raw umber around the eye. This is the point where I'm adding the makeup, adding the wing eyeliner. And adding the bottom eyelashes. And adding the top eyelashes. This part, you do not need to make the eyelashes look perfectly the same on both sides because nobody's eyelashes are perfectly the same on both sides. They're similar, but they're not exactly the same. So it's okay if they're not exactly the same. See how my bottom ones on one side look different than the other side? That's fine. In the end, you'll see you're really not that noticeable, and it makes it look more realistic because people aren't perfect. Both of our we're not perfectly symmetrical all the time, so it makes it look more realistic. Okay, here I'm working on the eyebrows, starting to work on the eyebrows, blending things. I'm adding some detailing to the pupil at this point. I'm just going to let some music play and you can just see how I'm doing it. I do squiggles, and this is the most important part for the eyes to look the most realistic because you're adding in the intricates, the lines, it's kind of woven at the eyes. They kind of weave. You'll see, but they kind of weave in almost like making the number 8, but without the tops and bottoms. Like make it X. I make it X a lot of the times, but it's like a squiggly X. If that makes sense, and that's sort of. If you see any picture of any eye close up, we all have these like woven. They kind of look like DNA strands, kind of, not really, but you know what I mean. They look cool. And they're all like different colors, like different highlights, different shades. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm adding that extra detail because our eyes are so intricate in different colors and stuff. So yeah, the detail on this part matters. At this point, I'm adding that reflection that'll make the eyes look like it has that membrane, the glossy membrane on the top of it. This part is crucial to really give the eyes that shine that eyeballs have naturally. And then you put the reflection on the iris, and then you also make another little dot on the pupil, because that's realistic. That's what eyes do. So, yep. Here's the eyebrows. I used raw umber, some yellow. I mixed like a mustard yellow with the raw umber to make the color, and then I used pure raw umber for some of the hairs on the eyebrows. And this is pretty much the end of my eye video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. If you'd like to see the video of me painting the entire face, I'll be posting that video next. Alright. See you next time, abstract artists.